Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about how I think that business should just drop the 9 to 5 business hours because I don't think that applies to the current world anymore. I think business is now whenever you have time to do business is when you actually do business. And of course, like that might signal a very different reality for workers. No, yes. What am I saying? Anyway, welcome to my channel. My name is Valourine. I do talk shows every now and then. No, actually. Sorry, guys. I'm high from matcha and my head is spinning right now. I talk sometimes, I vlog sometimes, and I'm a solopreneur. I make money online. If you want to check out my work, you can just go into the description box and see what I'm up to on the internet or what I had been up to for the past few years. Um, so I have this realization last night that business is no longer 9 to 5 like when I was a kid. When I first time came to Australia when I was 14, Australia closed their shops really early, and in the weekend, they usually close their shops, all the shops, at 2 o'clock. This was like late 90s in Sydney, so it's a bit different than now, of course. And then they had like a bit of a change of mind in 2004, like in the early 2000s. I remember when I was still living in Bondi Junction, they did this 24-hour shopping for Christmas, and it was really weird. Like I think there were people still going to shop during that time, but that didn't work. But so it went from like late 90s to early 2000s, from closing up shops really early to opening up 24/7. Well, only during Christmas hours, the 24/7 bit. It was really weird, but I think like even back then Australia was trying to change their business hours, but in Asia I think there was no set time of business. I think whenever, if you're just a business person, any time is a good time. Anytime when you have time is a business hours. Excuse me, as I said, I'm currently having problems. I'm high from matcha. I'm high on caffeine, guys. Um, yeah, I have a very sensitive body, so this is what happens. Uh, this is like the topic is brought up because yesterday at 2 o'clock I was still reading my manhwas, my web comic books, and I was reading because I thought like, oh, I really need to sleep, but I haven't gone to sleep, and I ended up sleeping at 4. But at around 2 a.m. I received this SMS from this person who I ordered matcha from online, and the whole process was a bit weird for me because usually when you buy something online you just go to a website, and then you just put all your payment details, and then and just you get an order confirmation, and then you just wait until they ship the order for you, right? But this one is a bit different. I'm not sure why. So you basically they have a website, and then I have to order from the website, and then but I didn't pay, and then I have to wait until someone contacts me. I feel like I was dealing in a back alley type of transaction, but it was just happening on on my phone, like a back alley transaction on my phone. But like I think if this happened in the late 90s or early 2000s, it would have been like a call in the middle of the night. It's like, can you come outside, and so I can pay you and I can deliver you the goods. I was buying matcha. I feel like seriously like that. And at 2 a.m. So they basically texted me, and I had to pay so that I can complete the order. And so at 2 a.m. I was basically copying pasting BSB numbers, account numbers into my bank app, which I find to be really unnecessary because I think in this day and age you can use Pay ID if you're in Australia. Pay ID is basically you can just use your phone number or your email address to um, so that people can pay you so you don't have to give them your BSB or your account number. So it's kind of like a shortcut, but it isn't really. But it's just like better if especially if you texting me, that means like I already have your number. I can just put your number in there and it should bring up your all your details up, and I don't need to put your BSB number and your account number because it's a hassle. So I was doing that at 2 a.m. in the morning, and of course like and I was texting and there was no hi, hello. There was no like any customer service bullshit like that. And I find like the whole interaction now, like 12 hours later, a bit weird. But and I'm not even sure if I actually if this is legit or not. I'm just trusting that it is legit because I've been seeing their TikTok accounts and their Instagram account. I'm not gonna give names of the accounts that I'm telling you, but I saw like there was this other creators on TikTok that was basically had met up with this creator um, in Sydney as well. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna trust that this person exists in real life and this person actually legit doing this as part of their business. And I think it's their side hustle for sure, because the way they are trading the transactions are basically out of the normal business hours. So I assume they would have like a normal job. And I think so the fact that they're doing this at 2 a.m. in the morning and there was no hello, there was no how are you, I'm just want to, all these things that usually associated with customer service and sales, it was extremely dodgy. And the website was in a different language, in a different Asian language. And it was, I couldn't understand what it was. And I'm like, I'm just trusting that what I'm doing is right. They live in Sydney, but are really out west, so I have to pay for shipping fees. And because they didn't send me any text, they just sent me like screenshots of my order and then the way that we need to complete the order. So like two screenshots, and I didn't open the first screenshot fully to the full size, so I didn't see there was a shipping fee. So I paid the actual amount for the product itself for the matcha, and then they said, "Are you picking it up?" Like there was no, I'm sorry, there was no um, small talks. Like there was no type of polite language in professional email language. Basically, there was no that. Like remind you, this is like 2 a.m. in the morning, right? 2 3 a.m. and I was like, oh, like where are you located? And they just gave me like their address, and it was like out west. And I'm like, no, I live here. I think it's a bit too far to for me to pick it up. And I'm like, I have no idea where I'm gonna pick when or how I'm gonna pick it up if I do anyway. So I said, oh, can you ship it, please? And then I realized like, oh, I need to, like they said basically the shipping fee is included in the screenshot. And I opened the screenshot and I realized that I have missed. And I'm like, okay, let me just send you another amount for the shipping fees. And they just gave me like a heart emoji, and like and that was that. That was the transaction. I wasn't really sure if I'm ever gonna get my product at this point. I think I will for sure, but I am really, and to be honest, it was a really dog contest on getting this matcha because I was initially ordering like 3 tins of matcha, but in the process of trying to order it, the product's amount was updated and it was out of stock. So I wasn't fast enough to secure myself 3 matchas powders. I only managed to get myself in one, and I had to really rush it because I wasn't sure even if I ever gonna get one. Anyway, this is like my matcha saga obsession right now continuing. And I realized I really need to give this matcha craze a break because I am getting addicted and I'm getting having withdrawal symptoms when I'm not having my matcha, and I'm doing back alley transactions, I feel, at 2 a.m. and I'm not sure even if this is a legit transaction. And because they were saying, like, orders only being completed if you give me a screenshot that the transaction has been processed. I realized, like, I have been fearful for nothing. Like, I'm not sure how old these people are, but I assume they might be young people. And maybe because I feel like millennial will not conduct business like that. I feel this is something that Gen Z would only do. I don't feel like millennial would treat me like this. I don't feel like millennial would send me a text at 2 a.m. and having a full blown transaction conversation. And I think that's when I really do feel a generation gap with Gen Z, because there's a very different structure in the way they do business and in the way they deal with customers. And let me, I was, I think I was just lucky it was 2 a.m. So my resistance about the whole thing was nowhere to be found. I was just following orders in how to get this matcha. To be honest, I really felt I was doing dodgy shit on the internet, and at 2 a.m., I really felt like I was buying these black market drugs that was probably really dangerous. It's not, it's just tea. I'm buying tea at 2 a.m., talking to someone. There was no, I just found the whole process to be really inefficient, but I get it. They might just not want anything recorded and they don't want to pay transaction fees, probably. But as a millennial, I feel like I'll probably just pay transaction fees so I don't have to work so hard for it. Because I remember, because I was tracking their Instagram account, and I remember seeing at 9 p.m. that, the stories on their Instagram was basically saying that they would do the completion of the orders now. And I think they only have like 75 orders or something. So it wasn't a lot, like from my perspective. And I received my text at 2 a.m. So that had been working for 5 hours at least. And I'm sure this is a side hustle. Maybe they're doing this after their kids has gone to bed, after they finish work and after the hubby might have gone and play games, so that this is like their time. So maybe that's that too. But as someone who's making money on the internet, of course, at this stage, I'm still making, like, minimum, not even minimum wage, like below poverty level. I probably would have done it very differently. I am a fan of automation. I'm a fan of not having to do like multiple steps myself manually if I can. And I'll probably just put it like not even on, like, I have this, like, there are so many different platforms that you can do it on. Like, you can use Depop, I think, if you want. um that's what Gen Z uses. It's kind of like eBay in the early, like, no, not in the early, but like in the 2010ish. You can just go there and then buy, and then it's connected to PayPal, so it's pretty automatic. And PayPal takes maybe about 4%. So if you want to cover that charge, you can just up your prices to cover the charge so that you can get whatever profit margin you want. And that will be much more efficient, because maybe like, or you can use like a lot of other platforms like Square platform. It'll be in English. It won't be in other languages. Like, if you go use square.com.au or something, you can use that too, and it will take payment, so people can just buy and take payments, and you can just put up the quantity there, so it'll be automatic. You don't have to spend, like, 5 hours or 6 hours in the middle of the night talking to your customers, confirming orders. Like that's just me, right? Like, and all I have to do is basically the customer service if something actually goes wrong. Like, I think that's just me. I don't want to talk to people. I think there's a lot of talking to people in this transaction, which I don't mind because, I need to get my fix. But I seriously feel like it was just too much work from their end, to be honest. Um, and yeah, and you can just attach the postage as well. Like you can see like what the postage is like right now. And it was pretty easy if you set it up like on a, because they were already setting it up on a website anyway, so it wasn't as if that is an extra steps. So I was just like so confused in why there are so many steps unnecessarily being taken with this process, but that's none of my business. Anyway, that's my story of how I basically bought matcha at 2 a.m. in the morning. Like I'm buying in the back alley drugs. But I guess it's just a very different generation these days, and you just have to deal with it. And if for the customers, there is like I think this is the basic business principle is you have to find demands, and whatever is highly demanded and you don't have enough supply, you can do whatever you want. And I want that. I want to find a product that I can sell that have so much supplies that no one cares how it's going to be delivered. They will need to have this high degree. Maybe I should start importing matcha. Maybe that's what I should do. I feel this should be a really good business because it's like a drug out there right now. It's like people are so greedy. People really want this shit. And I feel I got sucked into it. And right now I'm still resisting a little bit. No, I'm not having any kind of other drugs I'm talking about. I'm clean. I'm even like, I only had like 2 glass of matcha today and I am high as my head is spinning. I'm so overly sensitive to caffeine, and I'm gonna pay for this with the withdrawal symptoms. I have not touched coffee in a very long time, and right now I am high on caffeine on matcha. Uh, anyway, if you are really sensitive girlies, please don't overdose yourself like I do, and don't get yourself sucked into unnecessary chemical addiction like caffeine. Anyway, I need to lie down now because my head is really lightheaded and I'm dizzy. And I'll talk to you later. Bye, everyone. Also, a reminder: ING Australia has 125 cash bonus for new customers only until 31st of March 2025. So, if you want to get 125 cash bonus, you have to go through their terms and conditions and everything that they required you to do, of course. You can read all about it in the links in the description box below. So you just have to scroll all the way down in the description box and see the links, and you will see it there. And then you can check out whether it's for you or not. It's not financial advice, but and in this economy, $125 is pretty good. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye, everyone.